Hi, blessings everyone. This is Lacey Dawn Jackson, the Groovy Green Goddess, and I tell you, I've been keeping myself on my toes lately, as well as my producer. I want to give a big shout out to Scott, my producer, who keeps me in line and keeps me on schedule. So thank you. I couldn't do this without you. I have a show today that I'm going to talk about creative expression. And I've been inspired to talk about this probably because I just got back from New Mexico. I was in Santa Fe for a few days, a long weekend, and I met a girlfriend down there, and she was signed up to take this writer's course along with a photography course. And I just, I only take selfish. I only take selfies. I'm selfish and take selfies. And pictures of my granddaughter and, promo pictures. And so I'm not really into taking photography, out and about. But I thought, this would be a good idea, a good thing for me to step out of my comfort zone. And it sure was. I feel very inspired and motivated, again, in my writing. And I have some really exciting things that are happening that I will share with you later on. I was inspired to expand a little bit more on the creative juices, because I've noticed that with some of my clients lately who are artists, writers, and really, they say they're not creative, or that they've lost their creative mojo. So I thought, you know what, since I just got back from a creative workshop, as well as people I've been talking to, or stating that they're not creative and they used to be, I thought, well, you know what, we're going to touch on how we could get our creative mojo back today. And I will give you some different techniques that you could use when you are wanting to get your creative mojo back, or if you want to just up the ante on your creative mojo. Maybe you're a musician and you have this project that there's a piece missing, and you're searching for it and you're not quite sure where it is. So hopefully with some of the things that I talk about today, you will be able to find that piece and record something that is out of this world. I am so happy to be back. I miss being on the radio. And last week, thank you, Mark Husson, for taking over my show and doing a panel. And, I just appreciate all my 1-2 radio colleagues, all my 1-2 listen colleagues. We really are adamant and just really passionate about helping you become more of who you are, your authentic self. And we are constantly working on ourselves. I know that I am, and some of my colleagues, because we talk about it. We talk about what it is that we're going through, and hoping to move through just different things. And so thank you for tuning in today and listening. I want to just get a couple things out of the way, before I start talking and doing reading. So if you are new to listening to 1-2 Radio, go into the 1-2 Radio chat room over at Facebook and put in your your question, what you want me to look at, and we'll get to that today as well. I'll go over there into the chat room. But before I get started, because if you have listened to me before or watched me before, you know that I am a big advocate for Juice Plus. I take it on a regular basis, and something that I love about Juice Plus is I will be able to get my granddaughter on as soon as she turns 4, which she turns 4 this month, and she will be able to take Juice Plus free for 4 years, and that is one of the bonuses for taking this product. And so if you want any more information, what I am working on is putting a page on my website, LaceyDawnJackson.com, where you could get more information and you can get your questions answered. So continue to be patient there. In the meantime, private message me on Facebook and I'll give you the details. And you know, it's not that much actually, especially if you are wanting to focus on your health. And you know, our health matters, and that's for sure. Before I forget as well, Kai Greenway, who has the Long Road on Wednesdays, she will be out gallivanting and backpacking around, I'm sure, next Wednesday. And I am going to guest host her show. And I'm very excited about that because I always have my backpack with me, and so I hope you can join me on her show next Wednesday. And I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about yet, but you know, that's just kind of how I roll. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about until like a day or two before, because a lot of things that I talk about is things going on in my own life and things that are going on in my clients' lives, and that I'm seeing this whole, like, everybody, even though they don't know each other, a lot of times we're going through the same thing, no matter where we are in the world. It's that energetic thing. So, yeah, I hope that you can join me. Let's see. I'm going to take a drink of water here, and cheers to you. And because health does matter, it's important for you to get plenty of water in. So I invite you, take a swig of your water, stay hydrated, because it is the healthy thing to do. Oh, something else before I get started, and I forget, because I don't want to forget this. This is really important. I'm very excited about one of my colleagues over at Want to Listen is coming back to radio, and she will be back later this afternoon. Karen J. Lewis will be on this afternoon, early evening. I can't remember what time, God forgive me, but you can look it up over at 12radio.com and find out. I think it's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but don't quote me on that. But her show is Soul to Soul, and she will be doing toe readings as well as just, you know, talking soul to soul. So that will be something not to be missed, and I welcome you back to radio. You've been missed. So, yeah. Okay, so I am going to go over to the chat room. I feel a little ungrounded today, and you probably can tell. I've just been, I got off the airplane from Albuquerque a couple days ago, and I hit the ground running. A lot of people are wanting angel groups, and so I've been scheduling those. I've been seeing clients, and if you want to have a reading with me and you're, you know, out in the world someplace, you can always find me over at one2listen.com, and I am there for you, and I can help you work through some of the things that you want to work through. And I am here as a support system, because you all have the answers within you. We all have the answers within us, and I really like to help bring that out and bring that confidence out in you. So if you want to get a hold of me, one2listen.com. All right, so let's go over to the chat room. Hi, everyone. Yes, I've missed you too. And Raven says fairy greetings. So you know what, Raven? I am so excited because I have been working on something for about 3 years. And if people have been listening to me on a regular basis or a semi-regular basis, you may remember me talking about it was a couple years ago, well, about 3 years ago, that I was in meditation, and I was coming out of meditation. I was feeling so much gratitude, feeling really good, and all of a sudden this, it was like I posed this question to the universe. If I could do anything in the world, anything that I wanted, what would it be? And all of a sudden I heard, be a fairy. And so ever since then, I've been being prompted to become more of my fairy self. And it's interesting. This is something that we all have to remember when we have something that we want to do in our lives. I had this idea that came from the universe, and it's taken me 3 years to really have some clarity around what I'm doing. Now, I had this idea about dressing up like a fairy and teaching some sort of class or, activity or something. And, I toyed with the idea of bringing it out into the community. A part of the reason that it hadn't, come to fruition yet was, I think, part of my confidence level or my self-esteem or, just being ready. Because sometimes when we do come up with an idea, when the universe gives us an idea, we want to implement it right here, right now, and then we get frustrated because it doesn't seem to be going as smooth, or it's not coming to fruition. And it's a good reminder that sometimes our time frame isn't the time frame that we would like. It is divine timing instead of our timing. So I'm very excited to say that my timing is now. One of the problems that I've had is having a videographer. I don't know if that's what you call it, but someone to video me when I am teaching some of this stuff as my fairy self. And I have someone that is going to do that. And so I've virtually hired a virtual assistant, and I'm really excited because things are moving right along, and you will start to see some of this action on my part as a fairy, and really teaching some things. This is my passion. This is what I feel good about doing. And, feeling good, I think that is the main thing in getting our creativity back. And I realize I haven't gone down the chat room yet, but I want to get this point across as far as, finding our creative mojo. One of the most important things, and I would say this is the most important thing, is loving what we're doing and doing it because we love to do it, not because we want to make money. Not because we want to get the information out, but doing it because we love to do it. We love to paint. We love to take pictures. We love to write. We love to make music. We love to do whatever it is. And when we have that love coming from our heart and we are, doing this process of this artistic expression for ourselves and to, have ourselves blossom even more, then that is being authentic. And so that is one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves when we are trying to find our creative mojo, is doing it because we love to, that it makes our hearts sing. And it's important that our hearts sing, especially in this day and age. With all the negativity that seems to abound out there, it's really important that we really embrace our creative self and really embrace our authentic self. Whether we know how to do it, baby steps. Getting a color crayon and a piece of paper and scribbling is, the baby steps. So, I, a couple of years ago, bought a little accordion, and I'm going to teach myself. I still every so often get it out, but it's doing things like that really make our hearts sing, and it's doing it because we want to do it. So I would encourage you to do it. So Sandy, hi Sandy. Very grateful for a message about my new job, please. Okay, so you know what? Let's do a reading. I'll get my big deck here. And I am going to shuffle a little bit, although I've already... The cards are saying, oh, you've already done that, but I'm going to do it again, just because I can. All right, so any of you who are contemplating on getting a new job, or that are not happy in your job, or that you want something new, this reading is for you. And if you are in a new job and you want to find out the direction, then I chose 3 cards here. Before I do that, I cheer to you. We are mostly water, so it's really important to get lots and lots of water in. All right, so the first card in regards to a work situation, finding your passion, how you're doing in your new job, is find the blessing in your current situation. Well, that is that couldn't be more right on, is finding your blessing. What is this new job doing for you? Maybe you're feeling a little more secure because you have this new job. Maybe it's actually making you feel out of your comfort zone because it is a new job. And, we have that learning curve that we have to jump through that hoop yet. And I'm being shown that it's really important to be patient with yourself because you're doing better than you think you are. So quit being so hard on yourself. For those of you who want something new and haven't yet taken the leap of faith, but you're dreaming about it and putting it out there, just continue to do that and find the blessing in your current situation. A lot of times there is a reason why you are still in the job situation that you are, whether it's what you truly feel is your passion or not. There's always a reason. There's always something to learn. Throughout my experience, which is, certainly might not be anyone else's experience, but what I have found is patience is probably the number one thing for us to learn, especially if we are in a situation, in a job that we are wishing we were somewhere else. So instead of wishing we were somewhere else, find the current blessings in your job. Okay. The second card that has come up in regards to just a career, job situation for anyone who is listening, is the indigo and crystal children. And what this is telling me is, for those of you who have kids, possibly making some more room, switching things around so you can be more available to your kids. Okay. For those of you who have grown kids and grandbabies and stuff, it's taking some time to just connect, whether it be if they're on Facebook, or pick up the phone and talk to them. Don't work so hard, and take the time for that. I'm also picking up that part of this children card coming up is about what is it that your inner child is missing out on? What is it that you feel maybe unfair action or something? It's when we're adults, it's our responsibility to take action if our inner child hasn't been nurtured like it maybe should have been in our eyes. So there's no time like the present for us to just be with our inner child. Nurture our inner child. Sometimes it's just about hugging ourselves and going, oh, I just love you, inner child. So I would invite you to do that right now, because it feels really good when we take a moment to just hug ourselves and say, oh, I love you, inner child. So the third card, and I find this interesting because the second card had crystal children in it. And what I have found when pulling cards through the years is that there may be a word on the card that is something that jumps out more than what the card means. And what I mean by this is the third card is the crystal card. And then, the second card has the crystal children. So that word crystal is coming up. And right now, and it's interesting because I noticed this in the last month, I go through stages with my rocks and my crystals, and sometimes I don't have I don't take the time to really play with my crystals, or, take one and carry it with me or meditate on it. But in the last month, I have noticed that my crystals that are lying around the house in my baskets and on the shelves and stuff have been talking to me a lot more. And it's important to take some time out and hold a crystal in your hand and ask that crystal what the crystal is wanting you to open up to or know. And this certainly will help you with your creative mojo as well. If you're not familiar with crystals or have never really paid mind to them, I would invite you to go out and find a crystal at a crystal store. Or, I have found that rocks, walking along your favorite river and picking up a rock can be just as powerful as some of those crystals. So it is about grounding ourselves. The crystals come out of the ground, out of Mother Earth. And so it is important to ground ourselves. And the fairies are telling me right now that, oh, Lacey, you need to hold a crystal. I don't have any crystals like in like reach. So I will just envision my feet going through the ground, through the floor of my office here, and touching Mother Earth. And so if you're feeling a little ungrounded today, I would have you try that, because no matter if you are on the 15th floor of an office building right now listening to me, you can certainly ground yourself by feeling Mother Earth beneath you. And the roots, sometimes the roots from Mother Earth will like come up and meet you, you know, so you're feeling grounded. They could come up to the 15th floor and meet you and just touch the bottoms of your feet. Try it. It's a good visualization for you. So, yes, Handy, you know, I think a lot of us in recent months have felt like we are lost as far as our creative mojo. One of the things that we can do in order to bring that creative mojo back into our lives is to take the time out to meditate, whether it is for 3 minutes or 5 minutes in the morning, having a quiet time, okay? And you know, it's interesting. I didn't think that I was going to talk about this, but there, you know, when we are around different friends and stuff, they might have a different way. Like for me, for instance, in the morning time, I really have to have it quiet around me, to just get my creative juices flowing. And I recently experienced something that after it happened, I started thinking about it, and then it was confirmed to me that this in fact is a way that we can get our creative mojo back up and going. And it is this. So just because I like to have it quiet in the morning for my creative mojo, there are people out there that, and I found this really hard to believe, but it was like, oh wait, the world doesn't revolve around me, Lacey. You know, everyone is different. But I experienced my really good friend who is a fabulous artist that she gets up and the first thing she does is turn on the TV. And that, you know, would make me like, ah, you know, it actually did, because it was so like harsh. The energy was really harsh for me. But I realized that in order for her to really hone in and ground in her creative mojo, that she needed that background noise. Now, she didn't need the TV up really loud. She just needed that noise. And it's that like background noise that, you know, it's that what we can call that white noise, you know. But it's important to remember that what works for one person in anything, whether it be getting your creative mojo back or not, what works for one person is not going to work for the next person, okay? And we have to remember that, because it's, you know, that was a big deal. I was kind of like, and then I realized, wait a minute, you know, this is the way that she gets inspired. And it was confirmed, oh gosh, you know, a few days later, when I was just perusing stuff and I read about this being a creative mojo, you know, reminder, is to listen to the TV in the background, music in the background, a fan in the background, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, that doesn't necessarily work for me, but it works for someone else. So, you know, being willing to acknowledge that in our fellow humans that we are all very different. Wouldn't that be boring if we all, were the same? I mean, and we got to remember that we are all very different. So, Handy, getting your creative mojo back. I am picking up, for some reason around you, crayons. And possibly, getting in touch with your inner child. And for those of you who have small children or grandkids, what an easy way to get in touch with our inner child is to color with them or to read to them. And many times, I know that this was true for myself when I was a young mom, that unfortunately, many times I was too busy. I would color with them, but all at the same time, I was thinking of, okay, what am I going to have for dinner? I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I wasn't as present as I could have been when I was coloring or doing a project. So it's a good reminder when we are getting in touch with our creative mojo to stay present. And not let that monkey mind, it's up here, telling us to figure out what we're going to have for dinner and stuff. And to just really, especially when we're playing with our young ones, our younger generation, that we stay in the present moment. I mean, even though back then I didn't know as much about energy and the energy shifting and, the chakra system and how sensitive we are as humans and how we are affected by different things in our environment. But it poses a question within me that if we are not fully present with our children when we are doing an activity with them, can they feel it? Whether they're conscious of it or not, they can feel it. Yes, they can. So that right there is a big motivator to stay very present and, remind ourselves that that's the time that we have. Our little kidlets, they grow up so fast, I've thought about, my babies are 30 and 27. And there's been times that I've thought about, my oldest one is more apt to do this, my youngest one not so much, but getting a color book and color crayons and saying, okay, you know what, let's color. This is something that maybe I didn't do with you enough when you were younger. But I guess that it would probably, what would get their attention is probably kind of risque color books, adult color books or something. Anyway, so I'm going to take a drink of water. I need a drink. So take a drink of water. So whatever you want to do, let's say you are a musician, let's say you are a painter, let's say you want to write something. What is so important to get us out of our stuckness or thinking that we are not creative at all or that we lost it along the way is to practice it. Even if we think it is the worst thing that we're doing at that time, oh my gosh, I feel so off. Sometimes that's when the gems are born and that pop out, is when we feel like we are stilted in our creativity. Something else that really helps us is whether you are a musician or a painter, doing the morning pages has helped me tremendously through the years. And I'm sure that some of you know what the morning pages are. But the morning pages, and I'm trying to, Julia Cameron is the author of The Artist Way. And she helps us to, chisel through the limitations that we might have in our own creative muscles, and exercising those. And the morning pages are pages that you get a notebook and you have it right next to your bed, and as soon as you wake up, you put the pen to the paper and you write and you write and you write. And if what you are writing is, I can't think of a freaking thing to write, and you write that like 15 times, you know what? That is okay. It will help you to get all the stuff out of your head. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to wear today. Oh, I need to get up and do this. Or I need to feed the cat and make sure I remember to do that before I leave. And oh, I need to do this and I can't forget to do that. And I need to make a list. You know, that is some of the stuff, some of the content that can be written on the morning pages. And it's essentially clearing your head out before you even get out of bed. And what has happened for me through the years is that it really inspires me and clears all this stuff out, that I can get so much more done. And I find that it is in such a creative manner that I get things done. So, you know, give it a shot. And all you have to do is just write one page, you know. Although, don't get a little notebook like this. Get a notebook that's, you know, 8.5 by 11. And, you know, take that opportunity to do that. And it's really powerful. Sometimes setting the mood, if you want to do something creative, setting the mood, playing some music. Music is really a good way of doing things differently in your creative mojo, in your creative space. Listening to something that might not be a regular tune that you usually listen to, but getting it out of you know, for some reason the hokey pokey, although we just in this workshop that I went to, we did sing the hokey pokey to turn ourselves around and to get creative. So, you know, being silly within yourself and getting up and singing the hokey pokey, or, you know, listening to music that you don't necessarily listen to, but it will, you know, get you going. Okay. Setting the mood, lighting candles, aromatherapy is another way of setting the mood. What I have found is when I use rose essential oil with some of the stuff that I write, and I want to communicate with my guides and my angels, and I channel and I automatic write. When I'm doing that, I like to put a little bit of a rose essential oil at the tip of my nose or in a Kleenex, and I smell it, and it invokes information to come through. So finding a scent that you really like, and helping yourself to get more in touch with your creative mojo there. Okay, so let's see. Yes, let's see. I'm reading. If I don't mention you, I am so grateful for all of you. For all of you listening and taking the time. And yes, Walter, I guess it is kind of weird to have two chats. He just posted in the chat room a picture of me doing the Facebook Live as well as the chat room. And yeah, if you would like to see my Facebook Live broadcast of this show later on, you can certainly go to our 1-2 Radio chat room and ask to join, and we'll let you in because we're very friendly in there. And you can watch me, or you could go over to my Groovy Green Goddess page, where I will post it later on, and you can watch it there. And, I appreciate you, Walter, for taking the time to like snapshot that and post it in there. It's kind of funny. And, yes, the Hokey Pokey. So, raise your hand if you did the Hokey Pokey or you like sang the song when I mentioned it. I see some hands raised out there. That's good. It's really important for us to be silly in a serious world. It seems like people are pretty serious these days, and there's a lot of stuff that just is not, it's just unconceivable stuff. And it's important that we do things in our own community, because that's where it starts. It's like we are that stone, that crystal that is thrown out into the lake or the river, and we reverberate out, and we make a difference because we are serving. We are doing something to help our fellow neighbor. That's where it starts, is to start right in our communities and help as much as possible. Okay. So some of the other things to shift your creative mojo and realize that you are more creative than you give yourself credit for is to change your routine. If you usually do something creative in the morning, try doing it at night. Now, something that I learned a long time ago in one of the, some class that I had taken was when I am feeling really tired. Let's say I have a full day of readings. I go somewhere and my schedule is totally booked, and I have a full day of readings and I'm really tired. That sometimes, actually most of the time, all the time, that our readings, if we're doing readings or if we are tired and we're decide to do our creative project, that our monkey minds will get out of the way and we're not thinking as much. Our ego is tired and is probably sleeping, so we are more apt to tune into the deeper levels of our creativity when we're tired. The thing about that is it's really challenging for us to, get ourselves to do something when we're tired, because we're tired and we want to go to sleep or we want to veg out and watch TV or something. But if you can convince yourself to just keep going, or when you are tired, you come home. Let's say you work all day and one of your big things that you want to do, you just know you have a book within you. You just know you have a song within you, but you work a regular job and you are tired at the end of the day. And you come home and you're just like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this, but I'm not going to do it tonight. If you can just do it anyway, and fake it. And what I mean by faking it, keep telling yourself you're not tired, or if you are exhausted, get out whatever your project is and take a few minutes to work on it or do it, and get, set the alarm for, 33 minutes or 44 minutes, to work on whatever it is, whether it be writing something or, doing music or painting. Do it when you are really tired, because what you're doing is you're doing it in a different fashion, okay? You're forcing yourself to do it in a different mood, in a different energy. And if anything, if you don't come up with any ahas during that time, you are surely to come up with some ahas, the next time you work on it when you are very refreshed. So, it's things like that we are, it's important for us to peel ourselves out of our comfort zone, because that's really what we have to do. It takes persistence. It takes being diligent in what we want to do, and to do it whether we're tired or not. And it's very important. I am going to do another reading. All right. Okay. Now, if you are listening to this on a replay, this reading is also for you. No matter if you listen to this replay or now, this reading, if it resonates with you on any topic that you have been thinking of, this reading's for you. Don't forget that. All right? Okay. Okay. So sometimes, in order for us to manifest things, in order for us to get more of our creative mojo back, we have to let it go first. You know, it's about letting go of that stinking thinking, that thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm too tired to do this and I'm not going to do it right now. Or, oh, I really should do this and I really should make time to do this and I'm just, too tired. Well, either we do it or we don't. When we start shoulding, then it is about us beating ourselves up and being overcritical. And you know what? We are that way in our everyday life anyway. So it's really important to not criticize yourself, not put yourself down because you're not getting something done, even if it has something to do with your mission, your passion, and it's about being easy on yourself and letting it go. Sometimes just letting it go and doing something different, unplugging and, watching a show that you usually don't watch, or unplug, do nothing, stare into space, or unplug, go to sleep, take a nap, or unplug, go outside, walk, or unplug, go swimming. Do you get my drift here? It's about doing something out of our routine and what it is that we want to accomplish. If we notice within ourselves that we are always going, oh my gosh, I need to do this, or oh, I gotta do that and I don't have time. I'm guilty of that. I am very guilty of that. So I'm being reminded right now, Lacey, you know what? Just be in the present moment. And if you don't get everything done, then you know what? There's always tomorrow. And if you don't ever get it done, then maybe you're not supposed to get it done at all. It is about being very gentle with ourselves, because we live in a harsh world sometimes, harsh environment situations. And so it is more than very important right now to be gentle with ourselves and to just enjoy the moments, the small little moments that we have. The next card that I chose is the Peace card. And it is, it's about letting things go and finding that peace within us. And I know how it is when there is a project that is like within me that I have so many other things going on in my life that I haven't been able to focus on the project, that it's important to still find that peace within. And many times, one of the easiest ways that we can find that peace within is to get outside and walk. Listen to, if you're not by the ocean and you love being by the ocean, or if you're not by a river and you love being by the river, is putting on some music that is of the calming, soothing ocean waves. Or maybe it's a storm and you like the storm of the ocean, and you can find that music and play it and take yourself away into a different space within yourself. So that is really important too. How are you guys all doing? I can't believe I just noticed what time it is, and I can't believe how fast time goes sometimes. So it's really important that we do things, live more of our mission, dream more of our passion. When we dream more of our passion, then we can make it happen. And being gentle with ourselves. Very important when we want to manifest and make things happen. Okay? Sometimes we do have to plan ahead because we have such a tight schedule with work and kids and dinner and meetings and exercise class and, you know, whatever it is that we have in our lives. It is about writing in pen in your calendar, if you are still writing on physical calendars like me, or putting it in your iPad or whatever, your electronic scheduler, that you have an hour to do something creative, work on your creative project. And remember, when you are doing that, when you are setting out to do that, be authentic. Don't do it for anyone. No one except for yourself. That's part of being in touch with your inner child, is that you are doing it for you to make yourself feel good. And if the reverberation of you being that stone or that rock or that grounding force for someone else, then that is just a bonus. But really, the bonus lies in you feeling good within and feeling that peace within yourself. All right? So that is really the most important piece of breaking through your creativity that you think has been lost. And I'm never going to find it. You know, be willing to do things differently. Many times we get stuck in a routine or a rut, and we wait for the routine or the rut or the schedule to get clear or not as busy, when actually it is up to us right here, right now, to change something if we don't like it. Okay? So it is very important to take good care of yourself, live authentic, and be original. You know, not too long ago, I was talking to someone who was expressing that they didn't have anyone around them that was as weird as them, or that was as original or crazy. And that it made them very sad. And, you know, that is part of us getting to know our true, authentic self. And I think that once we get to a certain age, we don't really care what other people think, as long as we feel good within ourselves and as long as we are doing no harm to others. One of the biggest things that we can do to become more original, become more authentic within ourselves, is to get outside of ourselves and be of service. And when we are helping others, it has a tendency to shift the way that we are thinking about ourselves. It makes us more confident, self-assured, and then we're more apt to be more of our authentic self. And at the same time, we're being of service to others who really are grateful and really appreciating the help that we are giving them. Okay? So it's really important to get outside of yourself when you are being really hard on yourself because you can't be as original as you would like to be, because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. Okay? And practice it. Practice that, but get outside of yourself and giving of service. There's plenty of organizations. There is plenty of things in our lives, in our own communities that we can do to help others. Okay? So if you are feeling that piece of you that cannot act your authentic self because of someone or something, or just, that confidence level, get outside of yourself, do something for someone else, and it will help shift that. It will also help shift that creative mojo that you may have lost, It may be hiding under the couch, so it's closer than you think, It may be hiding in the freezer, right next to the peanut butter and chocolate ice cream that I think I'm going to have tonight. Anyway, thanks for listening to me, the Groovy Green Goddess, today, and taking an hour out of your time to tune in. I really appreciate it. I hope that you have a fabulous week, and do something kind to yourself. Do something kind for someone in your life, or maybe a stranger, Do something kind. That also just helps our creative juices start flowing. So until next week, have a fabulous week, and give yourself a hug like this. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.